I was born in Kherson. I lived in Kherson. It is south of Ukraine. It is the city which is now totally blocked by Russians, but not owned by Russians. My parents are there now. Yeah, they are at home and they are hiding in basement. Call my mother and she doesn't take the phone. It is a huge stress for me. You can imagine.
The situation is very stressful and there is a lot of people are dying there and it should be stopped like not literally like, today or tomorrow or in a month. It should be stopped like yesterday.
People, stories, social issues, environment, sports, arts and culture, life, urban issues, innovation. This is the L-Air Uncut.
Today, we are very happy to have Tanya and Yuriy with us. Thanks so much for coming here. You are both from Ukraine. You're Ukrainians, so that's the reason we thought to invite you. We wanted to give you the chance to share your feelings, your thoughts about what's happening in your home country. So, Tanya, let's begin with you. What are your feelings? What are your feelings with all these bad things which are happening?
My feelings is that Putin is making genocide for Ukrainians right now. So it is the real devastating war happening in Ukraine already for 7 days. And there are 16 kids killed and there are 500 of rockets thrown on our cities, and there are attacks from all the borders, not only from Russia but also from Belarusian army, and it is the scariest thing which we couldn't imagine, and it is, I would say, very similar to what Hitler did. I believe it is like this.
Yuriy, a first comment from you?
Yeah, I also feel the same. And of course, what I feel that people, they are still not aware about the situation as much as like it should be.
You mean people outside of Ukraine?
Yeah, for sure, because there is a lot of things that should be covered right now. And of course, we have these troops, we have a lot of people that are trying to invade our country. But believe me, Putin is not so strong. So he's planned to make this war happen just for 2 days, already vanished. He already feel that he is suffering a lot. He spent a lot of his money and soldiers to the Ukrainian standoff. And believe me, what I feel that he never been so stressed and so weak as he is right now. And I feel that, the more and more people in EU and in Cyprus specifically, they should be aware about that.
Should be aware about the fact that he's very stressed.
The situation is very stressful and there is a lot of people are dying there and it should be stopped not literally today or tomorrow or in a month. It should be stopped yesterday. And everyone right now is is paying attention to this, but this also should be not just stress or paying attention. It should be also actions from the citizens maybe to help and support this movement to stop this war, because we are united with the idea of democracy in Ukraine, with the people from European Union. Our president has a speech yesterday, very strong speech, and that speech show up that we are ready to be a democracy-only country and be on the stronghold of freedom. And the Russia is only trying to invade Ukraine only for this reason. And we are standing for our values and for our rights.
I would add also that almost 700 civilians killed. And it's not only war against army or military buildings. It's a war against people and against humanity.
Against civilians.
Against civilians. and yes, Russia lost from Ukrainian statistic like 9,000 of soldiers in Russia, and Russia, of course, saying propaganda to their people and telling that it is not true, but it is true because Russia didn't take any of the city for 7 days, and Ukraine army is defending themselves, and people are really united.
Okay, let's take things from a beginning. First of all, you are a couple. You are married. You have two kids,
married, yes.
And you've been living here in Cyprus since when?
Since September.
Since September.
Yes.
Were you in Kiev before that?
Yes, we were in Kiev. I was born in Kherson. I lived in Kherson. It is south of Ukraine. It is the city which is now like totally blocked by Russians, but not owned by Russians. So Russian army is there, but I believe that Ukrainian army will come and defend and throw them back to...
Your parents are there now?
My parents are there now, yes.
You have siblings also?
I have my brother. He is a maritime captain. He actually works to the Greek company, and he now in the sea. And
so he's now in the Black Sea?
No.
Which sea?
No.
Suez Canal.
Yes, Suez Canal.
Okay.
And he is his kids, my nephews, are with my parents and with their mother.
So okay. So your nephews, your parents, and your brother's wife are now in Kherson. Where are they? Are they like in a shelter?
They are at home, and they are hiding in basement.
They're hiding underground?
Yes, underground.
Do they live in a flat or
a house? It is house, yes.
Okay.
And it is very close to the city center. And now in the city center, yes, in downtown, there is like tanks near the regional administration. And it is like 5 minutes walking to my parents' house. And actually, on the second day of the war, something was thrown from the plane to the central market, which is like opposite my home. So it is literally
some meters away.
Yes.
So can you talk with them? Are you in contact?
Yes, we are in contact, and of course, when I call my mother and she doesn't take the phone, it is a huge stress for me. You can imagine.
Yes. Is the telecommunications are they working?
Yeah, they are working. They bombed the television station
yesterday. I think that was yesterday.
2 days ago, I think. Yesterday they were bombing in Kiev.
The tower in Kiev.
Yes, but in Kherson they did, I think, before.
Okay.
Yes, so the television is not working, but everything else is working. And you know that Elon Musk provided
Skynet.
Skynet for Ukraine. So
he allows to use Skynet in Ukraine, and also provide a lot of equipment to run the Skynet. So the internet connection right now is stable.
So that's a useful assistance, help.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can also talk online.
We can, yes, by video, yes. Yesterday we had a first video chat because I just literally can't call and see them because of the feelings, you know. When I yesterday saw my mom with a video and my dad, I started to cry because it's difficult to understand that I can't help them because city is totally surrounded by Russians and they can't escape. And yesterday, for example, one of family, friends' family, they 2 days ago they started the escape from Kherson, and near the Chernobyevka, it's like the small city.
How can they escape?
By car. and it was attacked by Russian soldiers, and they were with kid, like boy, like man, woman,
And a
kid,
small boy.
and yes, and dog. Dog is killed. Father and mother, they can't listen, like hear.
Because of the bomb shelters.
Yes, because of this, and the kid got this wound like near the face. It's like the family I know.
It's terrible.
Yes, and they were trying to just go
Escape.
away.
Yeah. So
from
they
the city.
they're not armored. They're
Yes.
not like using tanks. They're just using their regular cars to just
Yes,
escape.
that's why my parents are sitting in the house and hiding.
Are
in the basement.
they mostly in the underground most of the time?
No, only when air alarm is on, then they go in the
To
basement.
hide, yeah.
Yuri, what about your family?
So yesterday I co-organized.
Where are they?
So basically, a story of my family that they spent 10 years before they are and they lived in Lugansk in the Ukrainian part of Ukraine. When this war coming up 8 years ago, they left Lugansk and go to the Kiev, and right now they are left in yesterday Kiev and go to the Lviv, and I co-organize this process. So I just get the chance to them to escape with the train, one of the last fast train that left.
You
Kiev.
were able to help them?
Yeah.
How did you do that
So
from Cyprus?
Yeah, I find out there is a lot of volunteering channels in Telegram that we are using right now. So I find out there is information. There is the one train that will left Kiev in specific time. So I message them and alert them that they should go. So they go to this train station by their feet because there are no civic transport right now working and operating in Kiev. So they left the town, and my parents are old enough to not being militarized because my father is over 60 years old, and but again the case phone it's doesn't safe to be right now in Kiev at all, and for sure there is a lot of armored and military people that are staying in Kiev. They are forced into Kiev, and there's much of people that doing a right strategy, but the civilians who are not able to to take these armors and maybe to defend, they are should escape.
Are you able to talk with your parents today?
Yes, today, yeah, I'm on the connection. So it's madness because they arrive to Lviv, and I also find the apartment to them so they can stay there for the some period of time. And of course it's a very crazy time right now because there is a lot of these similar cases happening around. So my portion of to help people maybe to be in a safe place. For example, today also I organized escape of one or two girls that I know in person from Kiev, and so for this reason I even use my connection with armored security agency that providing these services for very wealthy people, and so they just coming up with all the armors, with all the rifles, put them to the cars that also brought shield and get into the safe place them from Kiev. So right now it's very dangerous to be in this condition because they using these armors and rockets for the Kiev as yesterday. And of course, for civilian and for the kids and women, it's very unsafe right now.
So would you say that it's safer to stay in your house or in a shelter than try to escape?
If there is a possibility or it calls green corridor, yes, of course it's better to escape. Yes, but for example in Kherson there is more safe to stay at home than to go away. In Kiev there were the possibility to escape, and there were some trains, and some people were organizing buses for people and evacuating them. So if there is any chance of escape, of course we are sharing with all of our friends and trying to help them to get out.
And Telegram is proven to be the most efficient network, the most useful for the time.
Yes, there were rumors that Durov wanted to shut up Telegram for Ukrainians, but he hasn't done it. So yes, most of the communication in Telegram, but in each of the, in Facebook messengers, in all the social
media are proven useful.
Yes.
I would like you please to tell me what's the very first thing that you need to share with people from other countries that are maybe listening to you.
I would say that this war affects not only Ukrainians. This war affects each of you, and you should go to the rallies in your countries and push your government to provide cover for the Ukrainian sky, because Ukrainians are attacked by rockets. You should join forces and donate for humanitarian aid for Ukrainian military forces. You should tell the truth. You should tell the truth of what's going on, trying to convince Russian and Belarusian people who are totally brainwashed, and show them that it is not the war against military buildings, or it's not Ukrainian forces who are killing us, it's Russian forces who are destroying our country. And I think that all the countries should follow the example of the sanctions and should stop working with Russian state-owned companies and do as much sanctions as possible. I believe that only with the global support it could stop.
Yeah.
What about you, Yuriy?
I also want to add that this war is against, of course, and everyone should support democracy for sure, And with this war, we see that there is only ego of one person whose name is Putin. And he tried, to convince, very democracy and very freedom country to just, shut out and left their values and just being quiet, and he will never stop. He will go further, what he doesn't count on right now, that people in Ukraine are united a lot, and we see a lot of support from EU, and we see a lot of people that go to the border right now to just support people, and finding a way how they can contribute to this to this war and to stop this guy in Kremlin, because what I hear right now that the Russian stock market is completely, vanished. Yeah, so they don't have any asset left from their, capital. I'm seeing a lot of example of maritime companies, very big one like Myers, MCS. So they are already blocked any, cooperation with the Russian state-owned ports. So that means that from the supply logic, this war will cost this guy in Kremlin a lot. And if this will go further, and with support from the people from Greece, from Cyprus, we definitely can win the war, because he will not able to continue this, because it's
to
very
pay for it.
Yeah, he don't have any chance to go further. We have a prediction that it's just 10 days until he will raise the white flag. Just 10 days. We need to be on the same cohort of people united about the idea that we can win this war against this non-government or
so
crazy.
Can Putin be defeated with sanctions?
Yeah, because his financial system already collapsed. It's just to let you know, today they officially defined that people can buy euro, but with 30% commission. 30% for the transaction. So people we are in Ukraine or in Russia, they come to the bank to buy, for example, euro in cash, and they should pay 30% above of commission rate. And these show up that their financial system already unstable, and we just need a little bit more support to just end up this war, because he will never win this war. Yeah.
I believe that Ukraine will defend themselves, and that Zelensky will defend the country to the last breath.
I would like you to tell me what's your opinion on President Zelensky, and also how do you respond to the Russian narrative that they are invading to save Russian-speaking people and to protect the Ukrainians from the Nazi government? So let's start from your opinion on President Zelensky. What do you believe about him?
Maybe I can start with.
Yes, please.
So, in my opinion, he has the case of all. We elected this president several years ago. It was a very hard challenge, because I was voted for this president and Tanya.
I was against, and I was even arguing with him, and we had a family conflict because of that, because I was supporting Poroshenko. I would say that I now changed my mind, and I believe that maybe right now he is acting as one of the best leaders for Ukraine because of his patriotism, because of his dedication and boldness. So I believe that he will not push back.
And he become like a father of the nation. He he step in. He understand that he is the only person that can deal with this, and he start to move very fast. He looks like that person that are maybe very young to be a president. Maybe he is not ideal profile to become a president. Maybe he don't have
politician.
But he are acting as the father of the nation. He pushing this forward very fast, and the achievement that the Putin doesn't move further, it's exactly his achievement. He doing this great, and people
our army and our nation,
and people are united about this idea. So in my opinion, he's doing well. And the second answer to your question regarding this narrative, what I feel
there's narrative coming from Russia that they are invading for two reasons: to support the people that are Russian speaking and they are suffering from neo-Nazis, and to generally support the Ukrainian people from the Nazi regime. What's your response to that?
My response is very simple. If this person like Putin are afraid about Russian people and don't want to have them in stressful situation, why he's sending his troops to this exercise? The thousands of Russian soldiers right now is killing in the borders. So why he needs to do that? In terms of to foresee to do something for the safety, it's mind blowing. I will give you an example. We are in Cyprus. We understand that Cyprus has very tight relation with Greece, and imagine Greece decide to foresee Cyprus to become the Greek land. Mm-hmm. It's a craziness. If they will use armors, people in Cyprus will stand up and will defend their freedom. But again, it is his ego to do that. Putin just decide to do that, and this narrative is just the legal a shield to just cover his armored people or troops to kill people.
So what has been happening in Eastern? Tanya, you also tell us.
Yes, so I was in Crimea in 2014 when it was the invasion, and when it was the
invasion number one.
Yes, invasion number one. When it was the referendum, and it was the Russian troops there, and it was tanks there, and it's insane to, let's say, vote for Russia when you are surrounded by Russian troops, yes? And yes, of course, there were a lot of people in Crimea who was supporting, let's say, Russian course. But the way they did it, they didn't let people to do it even on their own. They brought troops, Russian troops there, because I saw that on my own eyes. And I believe that after this first Russian invasion, it was not enough answer from the global government, let's say, from the European Union or from the USA. Yes, they did sanctions towards Crimea. Yes, they did some sanctions for the Russia, but it was not enough. And I believe that Putin felt this impunity and that he can go further. And that's the way he did. Then, he decided to do the second invasion. And his goal was not only Donetsk and Lugansk, which are now this Donetsk People's Republic and Lugansk People's Republic. He wanted to take Kherson, Dnipro, Kharkiv, Odessa.
At the beginning, we all thought that the invasion would just be against Donetsk and Lugansk, and then we saw that he went to Kiev and he went to.
No, I mean like the second invasion. What is going now? It's third invasion. Their narrative is following this 8 years before second invasion for that they were helping Russians in Donetsk and Lugansk. But let's face the truth, they were trying. It was their first attempt to go to Ukrainian borders, but Kharkiv, Kherson, Odessa, Dnipro, they defended themselves. So they made it, and there were a lot of just people, not army, but people of these Russian-speaking cities. All the cities are Russian-speaking cities. I'm from Kherson. I was raised in Russian-speaking family. I studied in Ukrainian school, but always in my family we were speak Russian, and we are now speaking Russian. Even when I lived in Kiev, I was speaking Russian. So I never suffered, my family never suffered, but when Russian, let's say, puppets were trying to get Kherson, people in Kherson were united, all the people to push back, and they pushed back. And they only got this Donetsk and Lugansk. And I believe that it was just a cover to, it is the same narrative which Soviet Union used. When Soviet Union started this, how it calls, like defendant wars, they were also telling that we are defending, but they are not defending, they are actually...
So what's your personal interpretation? Why do you believe this war is happening?
I think that it's a war against the freedom of Ukrainian people, again their democracy beliefs. People in Ukraine, they are doing and did a lot of amazing things to bring democracy to this country. We even sign off from their nuclear weapon to become the free country from the nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. We sign off to have this integration with the European Union. We even have a referendum on this matter, and we vote for that. And all of these steps, it's about us to their free culture that you have here in Europe. So people can vocalize about their beliefs. People can stand up and unite about some idea and just tell the government, guys, you should hear us, you should support us. And all of this culture is a red flag for this guy in Russia, like Putin. He understands that these are freedom he's not willing to consider as an option. And of course,
so he doesn't want Ukraine to be westernized.
Yes, I believe that Putin doesn't accept the freedom spirit of Ukraine. It is not only Putin, it was in our history. Russians never accepted spirit of Ukraine, freedom spirit. They always tried to do genocide, and they always tried to say on our country that we are small brothers, but we are not like their youngest brothers. We are a sovereign country with own culture and with own nation and with own language and with own beliefs. And Russia is a completely suppressed country, so they don't have freedom of speech. They're putting people in jail for the reposts, for posts, for it's totally suppressed country. And I totally agree with Yura that Ukraine is just a bad example for Putin. He doesn't want this example on his border for their people. He doesn't want Maidan to be in Russia, and because Russians see that Ukrainians are so free, he tried to make, let's say, Ukrainians not free. He says that it is because of the NATO and because of Ukraine wants to join NATO. But sorry, Finland now is discussing join NATO. So what's Finland will be the next? Russia will attack Finland as well. It is also border of Russia.
Yeah, let's hope that he won't.
So it's not the sign, let's say, or threat for the security of his nation. It's just our own path of sovereign country to go towards Europe, to go towards NATO. And we did this, we chose this in 2014 when we thrown away Yanukovych, and when the revolution started, and when was our Nebesna Sotnya,
the people that just united around this idea and just lived their life, it's all of the 100 people that been died in downtown of Kiev for these beliefs. And we know all of that examples and the history example that Tanya also mentioned. So that's again it's just one step against the democracy. Like if we are standing up and join forces with this movement, we'll definitely win this war and put this guy to the place.
So what about the West, the EU and the NATO? Do you believe that they have responsibility on what's happening today in Ukraine?
I believe that right now they did a great step towards having Ukraine under the members of European Union. Let's say first step towards getting Ukraine there. And I believe that...
Why do you think it's a good thing?
I believe that we should be in European Union.
You want to?
Yes, we want I don't know, we are a free country. We want to follow European values. We share the same values. We are...
and
these values are democracy, human rights?
Yes, exactly. The freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah. Yes.
And also transparency about the journalists' works in Ukraine. They are completely transparent about the situation. So that's also the value that you believes. And of course, the human rights it's number one value of our country. And again, what I want to mention, if this guy in Russia, like Putin, sending his troops to Ukraine, he's not believe in human rights, because these people that have been armored and just, get to this army in 3 months before the invasion, they foresee to become soldiers. He not believe any of human rights. He just, put in these people as a shell.
In the West, in Western countries, there is this strong leftist narrative nowadays with the war in Ukraine, that the US, EU and NATO are also to blame for what's happening, because in a way they are surrounding Russia, and they didn't stay away from Eastern Europe.
But it's not only they, let's say, proposing us to be in NATO and Europe.
Yeah.
We want to.
Poland wanted, Lithuania wanted.
Yes, in 2014, our people stayed for it because our president, made government to decide to
The pool, running the pool for this purpose.
he declined this path and people went on the street. So we want to go there. It's not because they are, making kind to us and we doesn't want to. We want...
Just to mention, like, these left-hand ideas, it's also good because, like, we believe that there is many opinion on this matter. But believe me, this guy, Putin, is using this left-hand movement for his purpose. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's not the case where we can, stop him like with a peaceful scenario. He don't want to do that. He's trying to play this game, but he always a tricky guy. He also always like using this situation in his hands.
When Zelensky came, he tried to make this like peace between Donetsk and Lugansk. It was the initial idea of his presidency. But Putin never wanted this peace. He wanted to block our development and our path towards EU and NATO. He wanted these republics to have the veto on all the decisions of the government. Mm-hmm. That could mean that if our government will decide to join European Union, 2 cities will say no and we will not join European Union. So it is like crazy stuff. That's why he didn't want peace. He wanted to rule the country. He wanted some puppet president, which he will rule as in Belarus.
Yeah.
And
do you agree with the West sending troops and military equipment in Ukraine today?
I believe they should do that. They should. They should
to protect.
Yes, they should cover the
people.
sky. They should get us to European Union. They should send the troops to protect Ukrainian people. Now Ukraine defends the democracy rights for the whole world.
Europe, for the whole Europe.
For the whole world.
Yeah.
Only small country defends. Like if you will see on the map the size of Russia and the size of Ukraine, mm-hmm. you will understand, like, yes, people are united, people are sending money, people are making sanctions, but it is not enough. Like, we should have real actions and we should have real support, we should have troops, because it is now all of my men friends, most of them are armed, staying like in Kiev and defending Kiev, Dynamo Kiev, all our singers, like civilian people, they were staying with the arms.
Sport teams, yes.
And what about the possibility of the war getting bigger?
It could, yes.
But how can we avoid that?
Just maybe to support Ukraine right now, because if Putin will understand that it doesn't work this way, if he will stop and he will push back a big step back, so that means that he will not be able to reorganize himself. Of course, there is a lot of threats, but again, the statement from the President Zelensky was the following: he opened borders for any people that come to Ukraine and become the supporting forces of the Ukrainian army. So he even can right now open border for people from Poland, just regular people, just to join us and be our support. And if we will stand up and cover the democracy and freedom in Ukraine, he will not be able to do that like he did before with Eastern Europe, Eastern Ukraine, and in Crimea, because that was his first steps. And right now it's a very crucial moment to stop him. If we will not stop him, he'll go further.
5 weeks or 5 years ago, did you actually believe that the invasion, this war, this number 3 invasion, which is bigger, would happen?
5 years ago, no. 5 weeks ago, I would say we felt that it could go further, and we tried to force our parents to fly here, and
and why they didn't?
They didn't believe. Like 2 days after Biden's speech, last Biden speech 2 days before the war, we realized with Yuriy that the war will start, and we called again my parents and said that we want to buy tickets tomorrow, please, you should go away. And my mom said, kids, no worries, it is first time after all this 2 months, because it was like 2 months from December, Russian troops were near the borders. So she was telling me, it is like first time in 2 months when I believe that the war will not start. It was the day when...
Why do you think she believed that?
Because when Putin announced that he supports and recognizes these republics, Donetsk and Lugansk Republic as independent states, a lot of experts were saying that it is like the compromise, that it is that he lost his face and that he tries to escape from that situation and doing at least something, not to like totally push back, but to do something and push back. So it was all the experts were saying that. That's why my mom was telling me that dad is always reading everything, and like we checked with everybody, nobody believes the war will not start.
Was that a common belief in Kiev and in Ukraine in general?
Not, because for example, one our family friends came here 1 week before the war. So actually the man of the family, he sent wife and 2 kids here, and he had tickets on 24th of February. So, and on 24th of February the war has started. So he never made it to come here because
he's still
there. But yes, some of the people, and I know in my volunteering group also few families came in Cyprus 1 week before the war. So there were not many people who were believing that he will do it,
or just waiting, for the what happening, but they're not ready to tape in.
And the thing is also important to mention that people, even who thought that he will do it and that the war will start, they were thinking that it will not be on a such scale. People were thinking that he will start slowly from Donetsk, Lugansk, and then no one expected that it will start in Kiev, everybody in every city in the same time. I got a call on 24th of February at 6 o'clock. I got a call from our friends saying that what do you have in your media? There is nothing in our media. We woke up from the bombings, and in 10 minutes we are now in the car moving to the west of the country.
The border.
What are there in your media? So no one expected that in all the cities they will woke up from the bombs.
Yeah.
And no one expected that Belarus
will also join this force. And
you didn't expect that Belarus would join?
No.
Why?
Not from the first day, at least.
Yeah.
At least not so open. Because even there was an interview with one Ukrainian interviewer when he asked Lukashenko if Russia will invite you to the war against Ukraine, and Lukashenko replied, "Never,
never. Yeah.
It will never happen."
It's my personal words. Remember, never. And then he forgot his words, and that's, always happening with Putin and with
dictators.
With dictators. But again, to was mentioned that, for example, government of the Kazakhstan, they decide to not participate in this war because Putin also, asked them to provide the troops for this war, but they resigned for this moment. And in my opinion, that's a stronghold of nation that try to, to put this war in a situation that it should be stopped. And for example, here also in the European Union, we see a lot of support to close the sky for Russian state, own it airplanes and flights. And it's also very beneficial for this whole situation. But again, it just moves that already happened and been this situation that it's already show up this collapse of the economy of Russia. And we just need to have more support from European Union to end up this war. And we'll do that.
I hope that it will be done yesterday, as you told before. I would also like to ask you if you have any Russian friends.
Yes, we have.
And what's
they are supporting Ukraine. They are supporting Ukraine, and even in my volunteering group we have some Russians. And also for your understanding that we are not neo-Nazis. We have in our volunteering group, Cyprus for Ukraine.
That's hilarious. The neo-Nazi narrative, it's hilarious.
It's crazy. Yeah. So we have 17 coordinators who are helping people who stuck in Cyprus with accommodation, food, and etc. So we have the group of people who are in need and group of people, let's say volunteers, and the coordinators, which are our team of 16 people. So in this team, we have two Russian girls, and they don't understand Ukrainian. But we have Ukrainian girls who speak Ukrainian, and these Ukrainian girls, they switched to Russian,
so they can also
understand. So it was never a question.
An issue between people.
Never. And also, I met today one guy of my friend from Moscow, and he exactly tell me the same. There is a lot of people who are not supporting this movement in Russia. There is a lot of young people who are completely shockful about this whole situation, and they are also understand that these elites, they're the educated people that have university degrees, etc. They not supporting Putin, and also all of these companies, IT companies from Russia, they also not supporting Putin. So that means that we just seen this case as a one-man show. It's just one-man show, and we just need to understand that he are suffering and he will stop. And that's all.
But also in my own family, my aunt lives in Sevastopol. And when the war started, she called my father, who is her brother, and asked him why Ukraine has attacked Russia. So yes, there are a lot of people in Russia and in Crimea and in Donetsk and Lugansk who are totally brainwashed. And that actually what he did for last 8 years. He did a great job. He totally vanished common sense of the people. We have these cases when our friends, they are now in Poland, and they have parents who live in Crimea, and their parents doesn't believe them. Their parents tell them that stop this bullshit. It's not true. It's not true. Russia escaped, helping you. Russia came with a peace. What a peace.
With armored peace, with a rifle to put. And just maybe also one thing to mention, all of these cases that we've seen here a lot, it doesn't right at all. As we understand that, it's not the right strategy. People are right now united across the globe just to support Ukraine.
And the thing is, which of course a bit strange for Ukrainians, that most of the Russians who even support us, let's say, yes, they are afraid to go on the streets. But like the drop is nothing, but the ocean is from the drops.
Yeah.
And when we had the same situation in 2014 and our government was putting our people in Autozak when Yanukovych was our president and killing people, it like thousand of people, they went on the street to defend themselves. And if there will be like millions of Russian government couldn't do anything. If there will be millions.
Yeah.
Not of course.
And also one thing, like, you know, this propaganda thing in
Yes,
Russia.
I wanted to ask you about the propaganda war and how you are personally dealing with it.
In Russia, like, you know, there is a lot of audience of TV, and they believe in everything that, you know,
Public TV.
in
Yes.
public. In government is using this channel only for the propaganda as well. Like, you know, but the funny thing, like, you know, once yesterday it was been bombed the Ukrainian TV station. The president of Putin, he don't understand Ukraine at all. That people in Ukraine doesn't watch TV that much that Russian people are did it. Like, you know, they are most of the time they're in the web. They most of the time in social media. So they even not care about the television as much as, like, you know, Putin did. And that's, like, you know, the point. He's trying to, you know, in every town and every city that he goes to in Ukraine with these military troops, he tried, you know, to manage the TV station. But we don't care. You know, because, like, it doesn't, you know, appear.
So he's not in touch with reality. He doesn't know what's happening in a grassroots level, in society level. He is not aware of it.
And also, like, he bring to the Minsk the president that Yanukovych that was left Ukraine, and he felt that he can put Yanukovych after Zelensky. But, you know, he did not understand at all the whole situation, the context, because people already, like, you know, put this Yanukovych to escape the country because of his beliefs, and right now, like, you know, it's exactly show up that he is nonsense as a person.
In terms of propaganda,
Yes, how are you dealing with it?
I am personally have paid subscriptions on international media like The Economist. I try to double check news. Of course, not like each of the news, but if there is something very important, I try to double check.
Yeah, for example, these days, which war is happening in your country.
Yeah.
What are your sources of information?
So most of the time, they're like, you know, the media that are, you know, certified to share the information. Of course, you know, the verified profiles of the media, etc. And the one thing, if we are seeing, like, you know, there is some updates coming, we are investigating if there is any links to the, you know, the actual
source of truth.
Yeah, like, for example, if they are mentioning numbers or specific towns, we researching this information in web and see that it's exactly this is. And these help us a lot, you know, to manage this propaganda thing, because yes, you're right, there's a lot of media channels that have been created just for the propaganda, and sometimes they masquerade themselves to be, like, you know, they are, like, you know, supporting Ukraine, but they are against Ukraine because, like, they try to also publish the news and updates in a way that it's very dangerous and powerful for just, you know, leading the people to the not right direction.
Do you think that how big is the propaganda? How many people, for example, in Russia, how many people, ordinary people, are affected and brainwashed? 50%, you would say.
Yeah, but also, like, to mention, like, you know, of course, you know, the Russian people, they have this idea of a nation, like stronghold. They believe that, you know, Putin is Jesus Christ of the nation. But again, like, you know, it's still not there. Like, you know, it's there. Like, you know, they are still weak enough to just, you know, if you try to just check all this information that they put in media, just from the context in reality, it seems that it's all not even from the reality. It's just like all of these beliefs, all of these national belief, it's just not coming to an actual facts. They just, you know, it's just some fiction, and that's all.
Listen, I think that my personal opinion, that they believe in this, let's say, like, Russian I don't know, Russian spirit or Russian nationality, which is like very powerful and should be the number one leading. Because there are a lot of people who are even in Cyprus. They live like 10 years in Cyprus, but they still follow this Russian narrative. So they haven't managed to become, let's say, more European people with democratic beliefs and values. They are still a bit like, they're still Russians living in Cyprus. They are not global citizens. Ukrainians are totally, of course, supporting Ukrainian culture, but they are also more open-minded to the world. They are more flexible, they are more open-minded to different cultures, and they are more tolerant than Russians.
It's also like, compares to the level of education, because the people that are in scene here, like, Russian also, we're starting talking about the education, and they like have very great, like, PhD in physics, for example. So they completely not support this movement of Putin. So in my opinion, this propaganda thing, it only working to non-educated, not aware people that even not have like, this, higher school diploma sometime. And that's mean that, it's also the path that Putin also did like 10 or 15 years ago when he started to vanish his educational system. So he tried to, put the people in a station that they are completely can be monopolized because they are not educated. They just, believe in the TV and that's all.
It's like people who doesn't have common sense. Like most of the Russians, which are our friends or our colleagues or people we are in touch with, of course, we don't see that. We just don't see that. But when I, for example, read some Russian-speaking media in Cyprus and there are comments, of course, there might be a lot of bots, of course. But they are a bit of Russian people who follow Russian propaganda narrative.
What's your opinion on the blocking of the Russian media? They blocked the Russian media.
But they blocked Russian-owned state media, I believe it's good that they did it.
It's a solution, but it's a short-term solution. Long-term solution should be maybe maybe after this war will be end, when the Putin will be vanished, we should invest maybe resource to educate people, to maybe also starting this movement to maybe so more people can be starting out to learn something like great.
Fact checking use or how to
fact checking is crucial.
Because when I talk to my friend that like has a PhD in physics, he never believe any words because he's not checking it. Because he like has a scientific background and he only checking his facts, and that's mean that he only believe in things that he can justify it.
So the propaganda war, it's a huge thing anyway in our era. We've seen it with COVID as well.
Yes, of course, and it should be like our kids should start learning it from
day number one. I believe
how to deal with iPads, with internet, and how to check information.
Yes, for sure. I would like us to conclude with something positive, if it's possible, something more optimistic. I would like you, please, to tell me what is it that you love about Ukraine.
It's the thing from which we started, and I will end it with this as well. It's the freedom of spirit of Ukraine. It's how people are united. It's how people are supporting each other. It's how people even tolerating soldiers, which are, right now, not in jail, but in Ukrainian forces. It's this freedom of spirit and strength of Ukrainians. Everyone is fighting on their own, tech companies and IT professionals are uniting on their part.
We are both tech IT professionals.
Yes. So, people on the wheelchairs doing cocktail Molotov for defending the cities. Like women and restaurants are cooking food and volunteering. So people are totally uniting, and they will never let Putin do what he is doing. Ukraine will never be Russia, and Ukraine will win. I believe that with support of European Union, from USA, and from whole the world, Ukraine will definitely win. I believe that we will stay strong. We will not let him break us, and everything will be Ukraine.
It's true.
What about you, Yuriy?
Yeah, I just maybe want to mention that, like, right now, our youngest kid, he is in Greek kindergarten. So, like, when I come...
How old is he?
Just 1.5 years. And it's go to, like, Limassol. It's called Tanya's house. And when I meet Tanya, she was, like, completely, like, share her love to kids and supporting us in every case. When I come to here today, she always asks me about myself, about my parents, etc. So what I feel that right now people in Cyprus also supporting this Ukrainian idea. And believe me, like, Tanya's phone right now getting a lot of calls from people from Cyprus, Cypriots that wants to support, Ukraine.
And from Russians.
And from Russians and from all the nations, because this crazy question of nation is just a question from Putin. No one else cares about that. No one else, like, all other people, they're united and are together everywhere. And they, and just, to be honest with you, like, sometimes when I see my kids and how, like, these people in kindergarten are treating my kid, I feel that it's completely like the right values that we are like wants to be with, and these people are ours, like, brothers and sisters. So, like, that's a very, emotional and nice support from you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
nationalism should be something that humanity must leave behind.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100 years ago, it should be like already been closed. Right now, it's not. Should be even right.
We don't have borders. Like, it's like global citizenship.
We have big challenges, like, the global warming,
climate
changes.
Exactly. We have
much
more important issues.
Important issues to deal with.
Then who speak what language and
exactly.
Our people will be on Mars in next maybe 5-7 years, and this is like, it's very important thing that we should focus on, and not like the Russian questions.
Let's hope that the whole mess will end up very soon, yesterday, as you said. We didn't mention about the volunteering work you are doing here in Cyprus.
Yes. So actually, we've started the Cyprus for Ukraine, which is the volunteering project for Ukrainians who stuck in Cyprus, or Ukrainians who are now flying to Cyprus. Most of them don't have accommodation, don't have food money. So we are matching them with people, volunteers who are ready to support them, who are ready to provide their premises, food, clothes, whatever. We have even some of the big companies who joined our mission, and they provided hotels for it. We are now in process of finishing the legal part of the collaboration with one of the Cypriot charity in order to have the possibility to fundraise for this cause. So yes, we have their team of Ukrainians, Russians, all together, who are supporting people in need. And the second part, we are also packing the humanitarian aid in Ukraine together with government of Cyprus, because government of Cyprus launched the program with humanitarian aid to Ukraine, and the second one will be with medicine. So here are some of the companies also supporting this cause and donating money for that. So I would say...
Do you know how many Ukrainians are now in Cyprus?
Yes, I know even exact
the exact
number. Yes, we have 139 as for yesterday. Maybe today is
139
people. It's like 60, more than 60 families.
You mean that they came the last week after the war?
No, not only. There are some people, for example, who came for vacation and stuck.
And what about the community that permanently lives here?
The all Ukrainians in Cyprus.
How many?
I don't know.
It's maybe fact checking needed for this purpose.
Yeah, it's a few thousands, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's more like than 50,000. But again, like to make it clear, we need to fact check in this first.
Of course.
Like blindfold numbers.
Maybe just.
For example, in we have group in Telegram Ukrainians in Cyprus, and there are almost 2,000. So the exact number 2,398.
And I guess most of them are Limassol.
Volunteers. Yeah.
No, not on. It's not volunteers. It's Ukrainians in Cyprus. So
they're all over.
Yes, they're all over the island. So they're in Larnaca, Nicosia, Limassol. So maybe almost 3,000, let's say, Ukrainians here. But I don't know the exact sum.
We'll check this and definitely we'll provide this number. Maybe you can put this on the on the description of your web video, the exact number. But again, the point here is that maybe I want to share with the people in Cyprus that we are coming here for the same values. We are supporting the same ideas of freedom of speech, etc. And I think that together we will win this war. And glory to Ukraine. It's exactly the thing that we are feeling united with you guys. Like glory to Ukraine.
Glory to our heroes.
Yeah.
Let's hope it will all be over soon.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you
today.
Thank you.
Thank you.